Want to play us in?
Oh, no, this was your pick. You get to do it.
This is my pick.
You did. You said you wanted me to watch this so we can record it.
All right.
You watched it first.
Welcome back to an episode of Movie Howl. A couple years in the making.
Something. It's been a minute.
One of us looks a little different.
To you.
That's cool. Yeah.
You guys see he's got a beard now.
It's because I have...
And I don't. Look at this.
I went Apple instead of Samsung.
Ah.
But this time we're talking about Citizen Vigilante because I happened to watch it a couple nights ago. Weird timing. I saw a little clip of it on YouTube. Wondered what it was because I haven't seen Armie Hammer in anything in a long time. I feel like since Man from U.N.C.L.E., maybe?
Oh, was he in that?
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I think the
Russian.
last thing that when I hear his name, the only thing I thought of was
Lone Ranger?
Lone Ranger.
Yeah.
With Johnny Depp as the Indian for some reason. That was great.
Yeah. It's pretty good. But anyway, they've definitely wanted the Indian character to be a Jack Sparrow. For sure. They wanted that weird, where he's eating the peanuts in the shell and everything. Just these weird little scenes throughout, these odd behaviors. But anyway, saw that, decided to watch it. Super weird. So I told you about it. And you watched it. And you said we should record about it. And we've been wanting to do this again. We haven't done it in a while. You may have noticed. So what do you think? It's a direct streaming, Death Wish, exploitation type movie starring Armie Hammer, produced by Hugh Boll, who I'd never really heard of, but apparently he's a fairly controversial person. I don't really recognize any of the other names for the cast, but Armie Hammer, like I said, is what got me wanting to take a look. He's the biggest name in it by far. I did not realize that he was sort of blacklisted from Hollywood.
Yeah, there was a little controversy there for a minute.
Cannibalism.
Something weird.
Yeah, cannibalism.
Just
allegations. That would be the word.
I mean, I'm sorry. That's my dog. I'm sorry. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing. All right, so this movie, it goes hard. It just straight up and I don't know. We're trying to do maybe a spoiler, non-spoiler thing. I'm ready to just talk about this and kind of get into it because it's a timely movie. It was made on purpose.
A spoiler review.
Yeah, it is going to be because this is. I mean, that's what we do on this channel for Movie Howl. If you are new to the channel, we just talk about them. We just talk about movies.
Or if you don't remember what it's like and you've watched it before.
Or let's not. We don't have to dwell. We're not.
What is this, by the way? It has a blade in it.
It is the end piece of an immersion blender.
Okay.
This will be an egg separator.
Okay. Well, I'm mainly asking about mine because it probably just looks like a mic stand.
Kind of little, maybe.
But I'm looking at a blade. So.
But not the blade I like. That's the black guy who.
Not in a threatening, not in a snipes way.
Yeah, not in a snipes way.
Taxes. Don't.
There will never be another blade. I mean, we know. We all saw it. We know. This movie really pulls no punches. Is almost, it's just shocking. A good way to put it. And there's part. I mean, they're trying to do what they do in this movie. A lot of it for shock value. But the thing about it is, these things are happening right now in real life around us, and nobody seems to want to talk about it. I've been paying attention to the content in this movie. I've kind of been paying attention to for a while now because there have been things that have been going on, certainly longer than I've been paying attention to it. I mean, past 2 to 3 years, hearing about what the content that this movie covers and what it's going to talk about are immigrants to countries, whether legal or illegal, who are not really integrating into those societies in the way that needs to happen for actual immigration to work. If anybody, it doesn't matter where you go from here to there, when you get there, you need to follow those laws, those rules, and say, oh, I want to come to America because I believe in what America stands for. Or I want to go to here because I believe in what they do. And you abide by all that. And this movie goes hard in the fact that that's not happening right now. So,
but it also goes hard into the idea of white people, kids. there's a whole, two kind of major scenes about these kids on a bus. I think one of them's not white. I think one of the boy, I think it's a white boy, black boy, and a white girl.
Yes, the three little.
They're on this
Yeah.
bus, yeah, and it was that scene that I saw, and he slides up beside the kid. They're refusing to pay. They're like, just drive the bus, And I think the bus driver has maybe like a slight accent or something like that. And Army Hammer comes up and he goes, we have to be places, like, figure this out. And like, he's like, I'm not going anywhere without being paid for these tickets. So he pays, and then he sits next to the one kid. The kid tries to make a move, and he has a gun under his coat, and he goes, this is the luckiest day of your life. You'll understand it at some point. And he like gives him this little speech about, when one or two people take advantage of a system, it may not seem like much, but it's more than just one or two doing it. And this creates a big problem for everybody. Yeah, a lot of it's about the system. So the thing I took from this was that if rules were applied evenly and fairly, regardless of who you are, your situation, your race, your gender, your socioeconomic status, whatever, that things would probably work out. And I think there's a point at the end where he's talking to that family that I'm sure we'll get to, where I think he says that, like, the problem is that what you did, you got let out, like, you just got let go. And that would not have happened for anybody else. And there's a, scene with this judge, same thing. He's like, if it wasn't for the way you just decided to be lenient and say, like, oh, they just don't understand. They don't understand that, like, raping and beating somebody is bad. They're confused. Like, what are you talking about?
I can't. It's really hard for me to.
Actually, I really like the fact that it's not all just about immigration. It's about things being unfairly applied. Like, it seems more even-handed than you would think on the surface.
Okay, so a couple things. One, about this particular movie, it's really hard to separate the fiction of this movie from the real life things that are happening in the world right now.
That seem to have kind of directly inspired it.
Yeah, absolutely, without question. Like, it's why this movie got made.
Yeah, like some of it, like, really same thing.
Yep. So, but the other side of it is I was a little taken aback with how, I don't want to say it was anti-police. Like, there was that aspect, but it was just a matter of how confrontational that was. Like, he was brooking no argument. Like, I'm not going out of my way to find cops and try to have confrontations with them.
But there's also that point, in the little kill box thing that he's got, where you find out he could have just fucked off at any time. He could have just left.
Yep.
He didn't lure them there. Or did he? What was the implication? Was it that
I think the implication was that he did lure him there because...
I think it was like that was sort of a waypoint in how he was going. They're like, he's always going back here. I think they tracked him back to that house, and they realized there's nothing there except this thing and some passageway to get out. So I assume that was, if they're going to follow me and make this a problem, this is where I make my stand, and then I can escape through here and go wherever it is I go.
Yeah, there were things about this that I really liked from just a movie aspect. If we're talking about that, not
The message.
The message, the realisticness of everything and how it applies. They didn't explain a lot. He just did stuff.
Yeah.
You didn't know who he was.
No.
You knew a little bit there. Okay.
There's a lot of just like watching him go about his day and wondering what the fuck is going on with this person or where they are. It just says Europe. Everything.
England. It starts with England.
Does it? Because I
They're in
swear on the opening thing, it just said like it went Europe across the screen.
Was it Europe or was it? I thought it said England, but it might have said Europe.
I thought it just said Europe. Or you can put in like whatever. It doesn't matter. It just was. It seemed a little bit generic. Nobody's like the accents were a little all over the place and kind of hard to put down to one particular area for me. And yeah, his behavior didn't make any sense. I mean, some of it did. It's almost like the extreme between the difference between Bruce Wayne and Batman. He's like an asshole, like more of an asshole than Bruce Wayne. The line that he says when he goes to visit the office of this real estate company he owns, that we find out that's how he can afford to just do this stuff. he owns this company, and he goes in and he's like, no, I'll evict everybody. He's like, I don't give a shit about these things that like protect people's rights and, you know, stop them from being able to be kicked out.
I was like, oh
because-
yeah, just let me. I got people.
yeah, I'll have my
will deal
people
with
take
it.
care of it. Yeah, that's what he said. My people take care of it.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, well, that's not how the law works here and stuff. But you're
Yeah, he's
rich,
like,
so
it's fine.
the
Yes.
government would totally like make exceptions for you or whatever if you just met with these people. And he's like, nah, just kick them out. It'll be
Yeah.
all right. And then he goes, smells like a nursing home in here. We need some fresh blood. Or I think he says it kind of the opposite way, but same sort of thing. And it's like, how can somebody who's this ruthless? And he goes to that, like, I was waiting to see why he went into that whorehouse.
Yep.
Like, oh, they're just, okay, cool, glad.
It was
Glad I'm the only one
that
up
was-
watching the scene. And then I was wondering, what is he going to do? He's going to go into that room. And he's going to be like, all right, you sit over there. I got to do this thing. I got to set up. I'm investigating something.
Right.
Doing something.
Nope.
No, he was just getting
some-
his jollies.
Yep.
And then,
just get his-
then he tells her, he's like, do you open the window when people shower in here? And she's like, no. And he goes, there's mold up there. I own this building.
Yes. And she's like, oh, is this free then? Like she doesn't know how to take it.
Yeah,
It was
she's like,
it was an interesting
Do I
interaction.
work for you? And he's like, no. He's like, just tell your manager to
Take
tell
care.
somebody
Yeah.
about this.
Or I'm coming back. It was, and I was trying to figure. I'm like, why did they throw
Yeah, why
a
was it?
gratuitous sex scene in this Death Wish-esque movie?
It was just part of Army Hammer's contract. Maybe.
It's hard to be a little lighthearted in things about this movie, 'cause given the content, given the real life implications, like the things that I've been watching and paying attention to. Like I just told you before we started, I was watching the Rogan podcast where he interviews Rupert Lowe, who is this man from Britain, has been very influential person, is part of this movement to try to get, England back on the right path. There's a lot of things. It's one of the things that inspired this movie, the things that are happening over in England right now. And they talked about funding this report, this investigation on these rape gangs and things that have been going on. That this people have been decrying this for years, and no major media outlets, nobody's picking it up, nobody's doing this. But it was like 20,000 different individuals raised like $600,000 to do this, and they've got young girls who were trafficked and have gone to court and have done things, and there's these testimonies. And this other individual who I watched when I was kind of paying attention to some of this, he went through this whole thing where it was her statement, and it was just reading the things that happened to her from these young age. And I'm like, this is going on nowadays, and I'm listening to it like that's not, how is that even possible? And then it's possible because for whatever reason, this is not this movie, things like this movie are not happening to show, hey, there's bad things in the world, and like maybe we need to pay attention to those things, and maybe we can actually enforce laws, like you mentioned, across an even
Right. And because
field.
one of the points he makes is like, you get arrested for this, but you get released right away. And it's kind of a conversation that I was having with somebody a while ago. It's like, the problem always comes down to incentives, and the only way to really have anything be stable is through rules. Because you can say, like, I assume the motivation in California when they made it, they don't arrest you anymore for shoplifting up to a certain amount. I'm sure it's one of those things where it's like, there's a lot of homeless, there's a lot of poor people. They're running in, they're like stealing like a hot dog off a roller or whatever. Like it's like subsistence. They're just trying to get by and survive. Like, we don't need to block up the judicial system with somebody who stole $5 worth of food. But then when you stop doing that, there are other people who see, oh, they don't care anymore if you just go in and take stuff. So then you have the videos that you see of people who are taking advantage of that system, and they just walk in and they take stuff. And then that, like he was saying, that if everybody does this thing, it's worse for everyone. Those stores have to move, and then you see, these community protests where they're saying, like, this store can't close. This is the only grocery store left within 30 miles of here. Like, where are we supposed to go? What about people who can't drive or whatever? Like, where are we supposed to go now? And it's the same kind of thing. Like, if you have groups of people that you don't apply the law to, I think that's as much wealthy people as it is, people from other countries where they're saying that they don't understand if you don't apply the law, how are they going to learn?
Right, and I mean
Maybe.
that's part of your
that's the way to
job
look at it.
of letting people in. Is maybe we don't let in people who don't understand. Hey, do you know the basics of what rules belong in this country and what you can and can't do? And oh, you don't understand those things? Okay, maybe you don't get to come in here.
I mean, I think, yeah, if you don't understand that, like, chasing somebody with a machete is not okay, maybe you just don't get in, yeah.
And it's this movie really pointed out the fact that it might be something that people don't really want to talk about nowadays. Or there's a lot of things in this movie I think people don't want to talk about nowadays, but one of the ones that really stands out to me is how some groups of people, some cultures, they don't mesh.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot live in relation to someone who is so vastly ideologically opposed to everything that you stand for. It's not just a matter of everybody gets to express freedom of religion, but we all still live under the rules and laws of America. But you can be Jewish and you can be Hindu and you can be Muslim and you can be Christian. Those things are all fine. But when you're trying to integrate cultures that are so vastly opposed, not even dissimilar, but opposed to one another, there are not things that you can necessarily take from one another. It really is. They hit the nail on the head with this movie. They did not hold back with anything.
Yeah.
It was brutally violent. And is that when you said brutal? When you said Kim she wouldn't have liked it, was that like, is it a like wouldn't like all the bloody violence?
Just the violence.
Okay.
Just the violence.
Yeah. And there was a lot of that, and
it
maybe okay.
It
I
gave
see
me
there was a lot of that, but I don't actually. As I think
it's not
there
very
really
graphic. It's not terribly. Some of it was.
Some of
the
it
scene
was.
where he's gunning everybody down because it was unrated. And what I read was that at least in Germany, it's banned because their rating board or body, whatever, has refused to rate it. And if a film doesn't have a rating, it can't be released there.
Huh.
So you can't have what we have here, which is that, and it's unrated. So I don't know if that's just a de facto way of doing it without doing it and making a political statement about it, or if it's just, too small that nobody did it.
Maybe.
I don't know. But yeah, there were some scenes, but there was also a lot where they just used like inexpensive practical effects. Mm-hmm. There were actually a bunch of points where I was looking at it and I was looking at the depth of field in the shot, like looking at the subject and then looking at the background. That looks like an action cam, like an Osmo Pocket 3, an iPhone. I tried to look it up and see what kind of cameras they use. I couldn't really find anything, but I wondered for a little bit, is this one of those things where they're trying to do this with phones? Mm. And they're applying filters and like really good color grading and whatever to make it look as cinematic as they can.
I mean,
like, is it that inexpensive?
Phones are pretty good now.
Yeah, I just kept noticing like shots.
Kanye, he did the whole thing.
Shots and stuff that were really really cheap looking, but done very, very well. It's like a very good production on a budget. Mm-hmm. Somebody who really, really knows what they're doing and how to get the most out of what they're using.
In this, like, we didn't need a whole big blowout blockbuster movie budget for what this is. Mm. Like, you don't need that, and sometimes that's okay. Your movie can be a little more low tech. That doesn't take away, like, I don't know what the budget was when they made Seven, and there were some scenes in it that were would have had to have taken some time and planning things to set up and what they did. I'm sure, I can't say sure, but I feel like for the time in which each one of these was made, Seven or this, that Seven would have cost more in general to make than this would have in this time period. But it was the content of what was in the movie that is why I remember that movie, why I'm going to remember this movie. Mm-hmm. It's one of those ones that I don't know. I don't want to say that I wouldn't watch it again, because I'd watch it again. There were some, like, I enjoyed the vigilante aspect of it. I understand this entire cat and mouse game that this character, Armie Hammer's character is playing with the police in this movie.
He's not really playing with them as much as he's like, you're part of the problem. You need to stay out of my way and whatever. And then at the end, the detective, he's like, give me the press. Give me the prime minister. If they won't talk to me, give me everyone in the press or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that was just kind of funny. It was just a strangely written line, like the most under. Because he even says, like, I'm just a police inspector. Like, I can't do this stuff. Like, I report to, I don't know, sergeant or whatever, who reports to a chief, who reports to the mayor, who reports to the governor, or whatever their structure is for wherever they are. He's like, give me the president. If they don't, then get me the media. All of them.
Well, I mean, he would.
But it's him turning and realizing that the vigilante's right.
Yeah, and the vigilante tells him, "Yeah, I mean,
Sanders,
you are the contact to me. So because of me, they will talk to you."
That's true. Yeah,
he was just like, it doesn't matter who you are because you are. I am the one.
He's like, yeah.
Me,
he's
they'll
like,
talk to you.
yeah. I forget exactly how he put it. He's like, how do I can't get your message out. And he goes, yeah, you can because you're the only one who has it.
Yeah,
something like that.
And they want to hear what I have to say. Like he's already in this movie as the vigilante. He puts out at least one message.
Yeah, I was confused as to when that is. It's almost used as like a narration that kind of comes through this video that he puts out, where it's being blurred in real time, and he's like, "You're like a baby bird. I have to do this for you till you learn to do it for yourself," and all this stuff. And people are cheering for it. Now, I agree with the stuff that like it could incite hate, sure, but Chris Gore, I don't know if you watch him. He did like a little him and however the fuck he does it with. I can't even think of his name, but they did a quick reaction after they watched it, and one of the points he brought up was like, imagine how I think vindicated you would feel if you experienced something like this and you saw this come out and you're like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what happened to me. That's why we need better enforcement. That's why we need more restrictions. That's why we need to be more careful. If you're somebody who's experienced this before and everybody else is trying to tell you, no, it doesn't happen or it's not really a problem, but then this movie comes out and it's like, yeah, even if it doesn't happen very often, it's a problem. If it happens at all, it's a problem.
Right. But this is the thing about it that's really just really mind-blowing and disgusting is the fact that not only is this not just a movie. Like, this is literally going on currently and has been for
like a decade.
More than a decade at this point. Maybe multiple. And why a government would choose to knowingly allow this. There was a concept that I heard about not too long ago, or I heard people having a discussion about. I mean, I'd heard the term, but it's called suicidal empathy.
Yep.
And that's what's going on with this, to allow yourself to be overrun.
Did you hear that from me? Because I've said that before.
Oh, I mean, potentially maybe, but I was listening to it on the Trigonometry podcast.
Oh,
they were having a conversation with somebody about specifically that, and it was very interesting that we can do that to ourselves. Like when you hear people say, Queers for Palestine. How about chickens for KFC? Like, what are we doing here? Do you not understand? Like, some people are just wildly misunderstanding of the nature of human beings. We've been horrific and terrible always. There's never been a time, you want to go back as biblical, Cain and Abel, just the first people, and they tried to kill each other. Okay, yeah, like the mother tried to kill one. That's been human beings forever. And to think that there aren't people who are just absolute savages out there, there are. Yeah. There are those. And the problem is you need to somehow in your own life understand that, well, maybe you need to be capable of that, in so much as some good people have to be able to stand up against that. And the only way you can stand up against something like that is to be in your own way that terrible. Like, that's what this movie was. Yeah. Him just being that terrible to all of these people who were doing terrible things and saying, oh no, I'm just how would he say it? I'm your worst nightmare.
Nah, I don't think he would.
No,
Did he? He might have.
Batman would have.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm
He
thinking
did
of.
say something like that. There was some line where he leaned in like that. It's also ridiculous that nobody recognizes who he is sooner. If he's had any voice stuff out there or any of these people that he goes up to, because part of his MO is he goes to the victim. He asks them, do you want justice or do you think this was justice? He knows all about their case.
Yep.
Like, they did this. They're probably, this can take years. They might go to jail for
Right
a while.
when
They
the
might
first lady he
not.
meets, he's like, what do you want? Oh, I want them to go to jail. And then he kind of lays out, this is what's going to happen. Is that justice to you?
Yeah.
It is not.
And he's like, okay. Bet. And yeah, he goes to that house with the little girl, like the teenager or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, are you satisfied with the justice you received or whatever to the dad? The dad's like, fuck off. Who are you? And the little girl's
because I mean,
she's like,
he's already been through it. They've been through it. Obviously,
yeah, they just know. He's like, I don't know who you represent. I
already talked to the police. I already talked to the press. I don't want any of this.
And she's like, no, I'm not satisfied. And he's like, okay, and he just walks away.
Yep.
And nobody was like, okay, this giant blonde dude showed up with the deepest voice I've ever fucking heard in my life. And now,
well, he's no Barry White.
All these people die. Yeah, but dude, it's so deep. It is so deep for like such a small dude. Like, he's thin, he's svelte. How do you pack that much bass?
He's wired.
It's like a koala. He's got like the double vocal cords or whatever. So he can make that deep, like.
Must be that. That must be
scary as shit.
It is.
I don't know.
My co-host is retarded. I'm sorry.
I don't know that I would watch it again.
I'd watch it again.
It was a little hard. There was a point where I was like, oh no, this is bad, isn't it? I paid for it and it's bad.
Tell me in the beginning you thought the same thing that I thought. So the beginning of this movie, because we already talked about it, there's going to be spoilers.
That reminded you a lot of Death Wish?
No, how it introduces us to what the content of this movie is. There's a mom and her son.
At the grocery store,
right.
Yes.
And they're just grocery shopping, doing some stuff, and they leave the grocery store, and you just see this migrant person walking up.
We assume. We don't know.
You see this migrant person, and they're just walking up, and they get this knife just right out in the open behind their back, and just stabs this mom in the neck, which is an absolute... It's just a call out to what happened in Chicago, here in America, because that just happened. And as I said, tell me you thought the same thing, that the kid whose mom, what? That was going to be him. That he was going to grow up and be this character. It wasn't
Vigilante. Yeah. I did think that. I thought, oh, is this his origin? And then I thought, no, this is too modern. Mm-hmm. But then I was thinking about the first thing I thought too. Like, I don't know what grocery stores look like in Europe.
They're weird.
They don't look like that here. This could be like an old-timey one in a small town or something, but I don't...
No, that's basically what they look like.
Yeah, they made it a little ambiguous because there was no like tech to really tell you what year this was.
That's true. They did. They made it a little ambiguous like that.
Yeah,
I agree.
And the store was not a recognizable thing. Like, you couldn't tell by the design. Like,
no,
you
just
recognize
local,
like 80s or 90s Walmart or something versus modern.
And I mean, just like I said, from the outside of this, they just went hard with this movie.
Yeah.
They did not pull any punches. They said, we are calling out this thing that is going on in the world right now that nobody's talking about. And I just considered this, and we have talked about this on many past recordings of things that we have reviewed. I just want to be entertained. I don't want to be preached at by my movie. This movie was a little bit preachy in that manner.
It was a little bit preachy from his perspective, yeah, because the whole time he's preaching about why immigration is bad, why this and that is bad, why this empathy is bad, not applying the rules correctly is allowing like he's telling these kids, like, when you take advantage of the system, you ruin it for everybody. Yeah, it's a little bit preachy that way. But at the same time, I kind of, in retrospect, enjoyed that we didn't find out much about him. Like, I didn't understand the whole, are you satisfied with, or do you think that's justice? And then he goes after the guys that did this thing to this woman in the hospital in the first place.
Right.
So he goes and does that, but it's not really for her, I guess. Because he does that, Then he goes to see the whore at some point, I guess. We wonder what that's about. He just stops this thing in a bar where these guys drug these girls' drinks. He swaps them. You know, they threaten him. Like, they make them very hateable, so you don't care. Mm-hmm. But the inspector sees him do it, so that's how he gets on him. He sees this guy do this thing, which, in my mind, it's like, of course, the police see him do a good thing, so they're going to track him and figure out who he is and all this stuff now. Like, why would that be the case? Like, why would the...
Well, I mean,
I don't know why that
think
made
at
him
the
suspicious.
point, the reason that inspector guy was there in the first place is he knew he was there. He was already following him.
He's already tracking
for
him.
the purpose of what he did, which was to take that glass that had his DNA, which they never really talked about it or went anywhere. They were showing things like you had a couple different narration versions. You had him doing it behind the camera himself, where when you're viewing it from the television screen of the people watching, it's all blurred out and his voice is all changed, and he's preaching at people. But then the other side of that is it's like he's in some.
It's like the audio from an interrogation,
and he's in there like, oh, my lawyer's gonna have a field day with this. And
oh, you have my DNA? That's interesting. How did you get that?
Right, yeah, and just the way that he's not even one step, he's several steps ahead of the police at all times. Like, there's no worry about him as a character and like maybe they're gonna get him, no, there's none of that. You know that he is the one absolutely in control of everything that's happening in the movie, and the way
but where I was going, he's doing all these different things. He's doing stuff that looks good, but I don't know that he cares about the people, because he does that. Then he goes to his business. They're like, yeah, we're raising rents and all that, and we need to kick people out, but we have to wait. You know, we have this many people that are behind on rent and all this stuff. And he's like, just kick them out. Just get it done.
Yeah.
You know, fire these people. They're old. Like, we need some fresh blood in here. Like, he's a total asshole all the way around. It's like, is this just a justification for killing? Is it something that he really believes in, but he's like so neurotic about it that it's just taken over his life? But they don't explore any of that. They don't really get into the psychology of why he's doing it or what his particular motivation is.
No, not at all.
Just that he's like, I see that this is happening here, so I'm doing this for you.
Like, I don't think this movie is going to do so well and blow up and...
You're going to get sequels?
Exactly. Because you got Death Wish 2, 3, 4.
Because that was what Chris Gore was saying. Like, I wonder if we'll have a sequel to this where we like find out more about him. Like, I could see there being a Citizen Vigilante franchise or universe. That's like, I do not think so at all.
I mean,
I think it was a movie to convey a certain perspective, in like a visceral way that you get to experience, that is a little bit more even-handed than you probably think at first glance. Like I was saying, like he's showing, like, it's not just when you don't apply the rule to like kids who are native to that place, it's bad. When you don't apply it to migrants, it's bad. When you don't apply it when there isn't rule of law.
There's a couple major interactions in this. One is between him and the attackers of the teenage girl. Because there was 5 of them, 5 or 6
Something
of them,
like that.
something like that, 6, maybe 7. Jesus, I don't know. Them and one of their families, and then also an interaction with the judge. So the interaction with the judge was interesting. It's one of those things that goes on right now, and it is, I can't imagine what would be more frustrating as somebody who is the victim of a crime. Imagine if you're a victim of a crime and a judge does not put your assailant, for whatever reason they decide, in prison, and then that person goes out and immediately harms somebody else.
Does that thing again, yeah. So I'm not anti-immigration. I'm not like anti other people's cultures or whatever, but I am pro. These are the rules here. This is what happens. Like I was telling Kim, we were talking about this, and it's like there almost shouldn't be judges. It should be like, we're 85% sure this person did, like, we know they did this. It was like on a scale of horribleness. It was here. There's just like a program. Oh, that? Okay. You get 20 years, regardless of who you are, where you're from, how much money you have. Like you that's the sentence.
Well, I want to know, why is it that doctors who are trying. You have both people at basically the tops of professions.
I know where you're going.
Judges and doctors. A doctor who is trying, and like a judge, they are both there to do the right thing. One is going to mete out justice. One is going to hopefully take care of you physically and whatever is going on. If a doctor does the wrong thing, prescribes the wrong thing, does surgery wrong, and maybe they leave their watch inside of you, whatever, like they get very real consequences. They have to carry malpractice insurance. They can be sued. That things can happen.
If you work at a bar and you overserve somebody,
absolutely,
you
can be held.
You can be
accountable.
held.
You can go to jail.
Well, then going out and they drive their car into a tree,
So-
like you're responsible. But yeah, at what point does a judge who's let somebody out 2 or 3 times who just continues to commit the same crime, what are they responsible for that?
Absolutely. Like if you could have put somebody in jail and there's a general time frame. Here was your crime. There was a general window, minimum sentence, maximum sentence that you can do. If there is that window and you choose to not do any of that, then if they commit a crime before that minimum sentence window has elapsed, and that's at the minimum, should be able to have recompense for that. Mm-hmm. They should be able to go and sue you, take you to court. You should be held legally responsible for that because you just of your own volition, through your own opinions, is, I'm going to make the choice.
This person's been arrested 34 times for this crime, and we keep letting them out, and they just keep doing it?
Let's try it again. Maybe this time they're sorry.
This time it'll stick.
This time it'll stick. And no, that's not like, what happened to 3 strikes and you're out? Like, that's it. You robbed 3 times? All right, 20 years. You're gone. Bye. Yeah. See ya.
It used to be like first offense. Maybe they're lenient. In some of these cases, really, they talk about them being arrested like 30-something times.
Absolutely.
Before they did whatever crime they became nationally known for.
How is that a thing? So there's an interaction between our vigilante and a judge, and that wasn't. I didn't like it. It wasn't brutal enough for me.
Well, he runs another car off the road. He's like, people will follow the rules, and he runs another car off the road. And he's like, they're probably dead.
Yes.
He just kills people.
It flipped into an immediate explosion, which was just dumb. But
yeah,
it immediately flipped and exploded. And I'm like, they're dead. He just killed some people while the judge is
to make
paralyzed.
A point to somebody who's probably not getting everything he's saying.
Oh my God. I had no idea what was like it, and it's those things that they do not explain. That you're like, what is this guy? He's a question mark wrapped up in an enigma and a mystery.
I think it's probably exploring both extremes. Mm-hmm. Like both extremes of this is what happened. This is what might happen if you don't handle the problem, and you'll produce somebody like this
who just doesn't
give a shit.
Nope, not at all. And he's about doing what he's about doing, and that final scene with, what was just basically a rape gang who hurt a teenage girl, and the way he interacts and deals with that, it's like the Harkonnens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just, I don't... I did like that. I did appreciate that.
Yeah, it's definitely something they wouldn't have done in a normal movie.
No.
They would not have had him get away with all this stuff. They would not have had the whole thing of it's a Muslim family.
Yes.
And the daughter says she was asking for it the way she was dressed. Her skirt is too short. She deserved it. It's don't they force their women to cover up everything except their eyes because the temptation or whatever. I don't know exactly what the rationale is, but they do judge that very harshly. I don't know how you get around that appears to be a reality. I know that when there were pictures of a lot of predominantly Muslim countries from 30, 40 years ago, they looked like any other Western nation. Mm-hmm. I don't really understand what happened, that they seem to have gone very much backwards in terms of their sort of liberal sensibilities. Mm-hmm. But it's, that's the thing that people say, that they're asking for it. I can, again, but it's an extreme. There are people who go to the gym and they see the girls with the wedgie pants or whatever they're called. One of my whatever. I had a friend who tried to wear those. She's like, these look good. And it just made me laugh so hard when she showed me what she was wearing. I was like, yeah, you look great. Get out there. You're gonna do
You're
great
gonna
tonight.
slay. Good job.
Gonna kill it.
Slay queen.
But yeah, it's like, yes, in that case, you're asking to be looked at. Sure, that's the point. But you can't just blame somebody for like walking around in normal contemporary clothes.
Oh, I mean,
Just because they're different from what's in your home country, what your norms are.
And I remember having conversations with my oldest daughter. It's like, you're right. You should be able to walk down the street completely naked
And be safe.
and be safe. But that's not real life. I mean, that's fantasy world. And if you do that, I mean, nothing should happen to you, but it doesn't mean it won't. Like if I choose to go walk in a wrong neighborhood and flash around a bunch of money, there's probably going to be a consequence. I'm going to pay for that because I didn't pay attention to my surroundings and I maybe was somewhere doing something that I shouldn't have been doing. But that no way means you get to blame the victim of whatever it is. You as a victim of whatever it is, you always have to be able to say, what could I have done differently?
Yeah.
Without question.
You could say he was real stupid because he carried a PS5 through like a really bad area and somebody just ran up and snatched it.
Yep.
Real dumb, but he didn't deserve it.
Yeah. No, nobody should do that. It's
Yeah.
his. I mean, they should respect that. But the West kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Promulgated? Propagated? So it's close to that, but we kind of ushered in what is known as the high trust society.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of cultures, and people can like this or not like this, who do not mesh with that.
Yeah,
it doesn't work that way.
I was actually, so I had a couple Indian professors, but I remember one of them talking about missing haggling. Like he was talking about the fact that he would go to these markets, like when he was home, and there'd be, you'd just like be screaming at people. It's like, that's what you do. And his wife, I don't know if she's American, like he's American now, but like he took his wife back to India, and I think, I don't know, she's either European or American. It doesn't really matter that much, but she's not from a society like that. And so she's like freaked out that they're going to come to blows or something. And he's like, no, I'm Indian, he's Jewish. Like this is what we do, or he's Israeli or whatever. Like this is what we do. This is how we do this. Like
this is how we do it.
And what I didn't realize is that's like kind of this low trust. I only just recently heard about this too, the high trust versus low trust society. Like in the West, you kind of just assume this must be a fair price because this is what they're charging. Like there's not really haggling. Like you sort of expect it to be cost of production, the cost of the thing itself, plus a reasonable profit margin, and there you go. That's what you arrive at. Whereas over there, it's like
doesn't have to be that way.
You come at it from the assumption of like the other guy's trying to screw you, so you do this, and it's like that's just the way it is, and that's the dance, and they like it. Like I mean, my professor was like, "Yeah, it's great. I love it."
My brother haggled over everything. He'd go into a restaurant when it was real slow and be like, "Your steak on that menu is $25, but give it to me for 20. You need a little business right now." Like he just liked it. He liked that too, like to go into like flea markets and stuff, and that's just he just enjoyed that. Haggled all the time.
That's great.
And so I get all that stuff. It's just this movie just pointed out a number of different things that we as a society, is it, when you look at something like a Batman that is more fantastical or something like this that seems almost more realistic. Like this is our vigilante in this obviously had some sort of military background.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit. Like he was deployed or something when his father died, and
so
didn't really know him that well, but he had to take over his business.
So like there's he got shipped away to boarding school, and so he never, after his mom died, and then in the military. So all this, but it's is it on society when these things happen? Like there was just recently what happened in the UK. I think this might have been in Scotland, where they tried to, either somebody got killed or they tried to behead somebody. One of these whole migrant situations, tried to behead somebody in the middle of the street, and then the people in the town reacted and like went to this particular migrant section of town and were like throwing Molotovs in and were like trying to kick people out of buildings and stuff. Like these things are going to happen if you do not all back to what you said. If you do not apply the law equally among all parties, wrong parties are going to feel a certain way. That was part of the civil rights movement that we went through here in America. The law not being applied equally among people, and a certain group of people who are not okay with that, rightfully so. That the law is just the law. Judge Dredd, and the law, like it's it just is what it is, and we just expect everybody, to be held to account. Accountability is okay. People don't like it. I just got done reading, and I mean, okay, reading Crime and Punishment. I was reading it, but then I ended up getting it on audiobook because I'd been spending a lot of time walking, and so if you're out there, not carrying a book while I walk, so it is what it is. It was just easier. Don't know if I liked it as much. I like reading. I like holding the book and reading it, but that was very interesting, and I know it's famous, Dostoevsky, Crime and Punishment. That was interesting. And how it shows you this society, and it's given this Russian society many years ago, but the way that people talked to one another and interacted, it was still the beginning of what we think of as a high trust society. Mm-hmm. We're not gonna stoop so low as to debase ourselves by talking and we will have this discussion, and we will just discuss this like men. And the way things were talked about and just referenced in a novel like that, it just made me realize that when I hear the way people talk to one another now, and you've got these different generations, and they say Gen Z or Gen Alpha, and they can't communicate with anybody because of all the screen time, and we have gone through so many different ways of communicating with one another. I think there was a time, like maybe it was the late 1800s, early 1900s, where when we talked to one another, there was this like that the gentlemanly thing. Oh, you have wronged me. We will now duel to the death.
Right.
Not just I'm just gonna fight you in the street, and I got knocked down. No, I will murder you because you insulted me. But there was this air about it. There was this way of going about it that was not just we're not just animals. Mm. It was an understanding of, well, we are kind of trying to hold ourselves to a little bit higher account than not. This movie just points out things.
Societal failures.
Societal failures is a great way to put it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and part of what I've heard that's, kind of part of... I think that this is all probably part of the same trend that's been going on, where we don't have a monoculture anymore, which is a word, again, that I didn't know existed until fairly recently. Well, it's kind of the idea that everybody sort of believes the same things. They have similar points of reference. They that when Superman says truth, justice, in the American way, you understand what that's supposed to mean. Mm-hmm. Where now, we're not all watching the finale of MASH. We're not all watching the Seinfeld finale. We're not all talking about the same thing at work. We all have, there's movies starring super famous people, incredible casts that you've never heard of because they're on all these different services that are kind of targeted at different people, and everybody's sort of living in a different version of the world. And the news is now diverged because of the 24-hour cycle into what is it? MSNBC. They're now called something else. They're left-leaning. Fox is right-leaning. All of them lie and make stuff up or refuse to cover certain things to kind of rile up their base. The whole point of a lot of them is just to make you angry.
Yep.
So you don't really know what the truth is anymore. You don't know what to trust. That's kind of my thing, is that I don't know what to trust anymore. I don't know what's real or not. I can usually recognize, like, I can definitely recognize obvious AI, and I think I recognize most of it, but I'm pretty sure there's been stuff I've seen that's AI that I didn't catch.
It's just going to get better and better. It's going to keep being like we are now in the point of I don't know what's real. I was having a little text back and forth with my son today where he sent me a clip from the financial audit podcast or show, which has
is
been
that
very
the Josh Hammer or Caleb Hammer? Yeah,
I mean, like it blew up. It is one of the biggest shows on YouTube.
I've never watched like a whole episode, but I've seen clips and stuff from it. Yeah,
I've watched some episodes of it, and it is exactly what it is.
I've seen him interviewed on other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've seen some of his interviews as well. But he's like, oh, we, the people in this, and listen to the first 20 seconds, and we're, humanity's cooked. And I mean, there's a part of it he's like not wrong. But I was like, you can't worry about that. Like you can, like, people have been doing and saying dumb shit
forever,
for literally forever. All you can do is control yourself
and your immediate environment.
Right. So, work hard, be an honest person, don't be afraid to fail, and you'll probably be fine. Like, just get at it. You'll do okay.
Right.
And I mean, we're not,
but
we might be cooked. I don't know. We might be.
Part of that is like, if you watch one perspective, yeah, we're cooked. The other part, like, there's hope. And when you have a society that doesn't have the same cultural touch points anymore, and also these like enclaves, I think is the word, forming, where it's like this area is all whatever, like this one particular ethnicity, but we used to have those. We used to have like, this is the German area, this is the
Germantown.
We have a Boston
Hill here in St. Louis for Italian.
That's all Italian.
But all those groups, those things you're referencing, even the people that there's like, okay, yeah, we're all Italian, or we're this Chinatown, but they were all still American. They all still wanted to kind of be free and to be free to do what they wanted and to not impose their stuff on everybody else.
Yeah, but it seems like now we have groups forming where it's like a totally different experience being there versus anywhere else. Right? Like, it's a microclimate of like, this is, itty bitty Baghdad in the middle of whatever city, and it's like, you almost just like being there. I don't know if that's actually true. I just know that I've been reading about like these groups that form where it's just, that's all that live there are people who immigrated from this one place. They don't learn the language. They don't understand the media. They don't watch the news. They don't experience the culture. They just like preserve the thing that they used to do, whether it's illegal or not, whether it's morally right by our standards or not. And I mean, even a friend of mine that I used to work with in New York, or the New York Metro, like, her whole neighborhood is all Jewish now. Said everybody around her sold their houses, and Jewish people bought all of them, which is okay, except it means all the like kosher and whatever, like, it's a whole different group of businesses that came in to serve this community now.
Okay.
So she's like, if I want certain things, I have to drive really, really far away now, which is just like, to her, kind of an odd quirk, but it's like, isn't that kind of strange? Like, to have this group that's so insulated, like, even the businesses are all different.
I mean,
again, the religion restricts like what they can drink and when they can do stuff, and that's the crux of it. But it's still like, something as simple as that can cause it to be a pretty different environment there. So what is it like when you have a bunch of people who move from someplace else and just do not integrate one little bit? They just form their own little mini colony.
Well, and that we have heard for the past 3 decades, maybe, I don't know, however long it's been, how great diversity is. And the only issue I have with that is, well, there's a part of that I agree with, if what you're referring to is diversity of thought. Like, I want people to be able to freely think about whatever they want, but diversity is not always like, you don't succeed in any endeavor in life that amalgamates a group of people together with diversity. Like, everybody has to be on the same page for whatever that thing is to be successful. You have to have an owner or a boss or whatever it is, the person who is in charge of that thing. Maybe it's a coach in charge of a team, whatever that thing is. Everybody needs to be on the same page. Now, that does not mean you can't take ideas from all the different people who are there. And I don't know, who cares about all the different people who are there? That's great to have a bunch of different people. But all of those people, in order for the thing to work, whether it's a country, a team, a business, they all have to be on board. Like you have to do whatever that thing is to get you to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
If you're not all on board to do that, you're not going to get there. You're not going to succeed. And so all this push for diversity just to have it, well, I mean, it's not always and forever in every single circumstance the best thing. It is a thing.
Yeah.
But it should not be the end all be all. And sometimes maybe it's a little much. Maybe it's time that when you bring groups together, if I want to go and be over here and be like this group of people over here, maybe I don't go over there and try to change them to like where I came from.
Right.
Because that's why else did I want to get?
Yeah.
And this movie, as I said, went hard on as much of that as you possibly can. They did not pull any punches.
We just got into like philosophy, how, because I think this is probably what they wanted, was a conversation like this. Because I really do think that generally people mean well, and they want the best for themselves, for their families, whatever, however that ends up shaking out. And I think most of the problems that we're having are coming down to the way a lot of these little things are happening. The way like these, it's like death by 1,000 cuts. It's like we don't have really a shared culture anymore. We don't have like agreed shared values. Kind of like religion's going away. Like it used to be that it was pretty common to go to church and things, and you're taught like a certain set of morals and values and the way you're supposed to behave and the way you're supposed to treat people. But people are moving away from that, and you have these different sets of values coming in that are different, not necessarily completely incompatible, but like different enough that maybe there are some problems or misunderstandings. There are cultural differences and problems that might cause misunderstandings. Like one of them that I heard about on another podcast was this American like linguist or researcher talking to like an African, I forget where he was from, but somewhere in Africa, this, black African, it was a white American, black African, I don't know, academic, whatever they were. And they were kind of going through the language, and they're like trying to figure out like what are some of the problems, like what, because they were like looking into cultural differences. And one of the things that they found that stuck out to me was whatever this language was that the African researcher was studying, there's no equivalent for the word promise. So they just like, so for them, like the best, sort of approximation is like, I'll try. If I don't, oh well. Where like promise is usually considered more serious. Like promise is like, I will do this. Like I promise. You almost can't define it without saying it, because it's so ingrained in us. And it's like, okay, that's one. That's one of probably 1,000 concepts that are slightly different, that maybe don't translate perfectly if you don't integrate into the culture and like really understand what people mean by these things. Same thing if you go there. If somebody, if you promise somebody something and then you're like, oh, I had to go through so much to do this for you, but I got it. And they're like, why, dude? It's not a big deal. Like it was just you just said you try, right? Like it's cool.
Yeah, man, I'll try. You got it. I think I'm going to disagree with you on one of those points. I used to agree with that. When you say, I think most people generally are good, they just want to take care of their families and that, I kind of feel like I don't know if I believe that anymore. With the things I've been seeing just in the world over the course of the almost 50 years that I've been on this planet, I think there are certain cultures and peoples that maybe believe that I would say, yeah, I think for the most part, this culture or that one in a particular instance, that they are generally good, and most of those people probably, I would agree with that on. But I just think there are some groups and cultures on the planet and just people, just as an individual, person by person basis, there are just people. Dark Knight.
Do we want to watch the world?
Just we're gonna watch the world burn. Like that's just what it is, and there are those people, and we have so many people who do not believe that that is a thing that is real. Like talking to my daughter, who just her opinion on war. Well, war is all stupid, and it's this, and we should be able to sit down and have a conversation. Yeah, I agree. If you bump into somebody in a bar and you've both been drinking and you're a little, maybe think about getting a little squared up with someone, you should be able to say, well, wait a second, let's just talk about this. Let's not take it outside. But then some people are they don't care and they just swing. Like it doesn't. What do you do when somebody who just is going to attack you regardless? Like no, you're gonna believe what I want you to believe. Like in the 13-ish hundreds, crusades were going on, and if you were a crusader and you got caught, it was either convert to being a Muslim or we kill you. That was your option. That was Christianity versus Islam, and it was a long time ago. And there's just no way sometimes for peoples to work together. We'd like to think that that's the case. I want that to be the case. I want to be able to say we should be able to sit down with everybody. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if I disagree with you. We can disagree, but let's talk about it. Why do we disagree? Why do you feel that way? Why do I feel this way? But we have to be able to get up and then leave the table then and say, all right, well, you're going to go do your thing. I'm going to go do my thing, and then that's okay. But what about the people who that's not okay? No, you're not allowed to go back and do your thing.
Yeah,
I disagree with you so much that my purpose in life is to destroy you and your way of life. And well, it's not. America's all about no. You leave me alone, I'll leave you alone, and we can live our lives. How about that? Does that sound good? We all think that sounds good. We're American. That's just But I just think we in this country really take for granted how we view the world. I think there's just people here, and it's very easy to fall into this, that you just assume everywhere in the world's kind of like this. They have all the same things that we do. They get to do the same things. And we're seeing right now during this whole World Cup scenario, and everybody's coming here, that they don't. They don't live the same way.
They didn't know what we were like here.
Right?
Their media was telling them different things about us, and not a lot of that I don't know what's true or not. There's like this French dude.
There's a lot of French
on
people,
TikTok or YouTube Shorts or whatever it was, where he's talking about like people smile at me here, like my mother, she smiled at me twice. It's like saying all this stuff, and it's like that accent sounds so fucking fake. Because I nailed it. I nailed his accent.
Did you not see his follow-up video? He is American.
Yeah, I knew he had to be fake. I knew he had to be like that. That sounds so fake. There's absolutely no way. But then there are other people who are like this is incredible. Yeah, like stuff's like you have to tip, but they're so nice. Like it's not like other. I saw some Scottish and like English people talking about that. Like they'll just bring you stuff. Like they just bring you bread, and it's free. And it's like, how can anybody that's Australian was like, how can you be upset in America when you have Texas Roadhouse? And there was like an African dude saying the same thing. He's like, how do I go back to Africa? He's like, we have barbecue and stuff, but it isn't this. Like I'm only here for a couple more days.
How about really soak it in? It's been this whole time has been very interesting, but there's always been things like this, like what this movie references. There's been things like this that have gone on throughout the entirety of human history. And the only way we've been able to progress to the point that we are right now, to have the things that we have, to have cameras and microphones and laptops and houses and all the cool stuff that we have that a lot of us take for granted, is because at one point or another, we started holding people to account. We started saying there are certain things that are okay in society and certain things that are not okay in society.
Yeah.
And through those means, we progressed, and we went from living in caves and huts to flying in space now. We do things as human beings. We are capable of marvelous and incredible things. But what I don't know why this kind of thing gets overlooked by so much. It's happening and nobody's covering it, and yet finally, thankfully, there's a movie, something out there that's going to shed some light on something, maybe make some people understand. I think most people won't. I think this will just be that's not like real stuff. That's just a
Propaganda.
absolutely, and it's not. Like, things are actually going on, and I just wish I knew what can I do. But I can't. I just have recently backed away from trying to pay attention to as much politically as I used to, because what am I going to do about it? I got into big arguments with my oldest daughter about it until I realized, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to sacrifice my relationship with my family because I want to be involved in my little depressed box of politics and things that are going on around the world that I literally can't do anything about.
I've had the best couple of days because I finally gave up trying to find a better use for the little action button here and set it to just, because this used to be the vibrate or like ring switch on an iPhone. And I switched back to an iPhone and the switch is gone. It's like, well, what do you do with this? It's like, by default, I think it does silence or not. But I was like, there's got to be something better to use it for. And I assigned a couple things to it, but I never use them. It's like, yeah, I'll just put it back. So now I just silence my phone all the time. And it's great.
It is.
I don't hear the little ding. And it's somebody on Reddit like, hey, I just got kicked out of my apartment. Does anybody here in the St. Louis area know someplace that could get me in? Like, I don't have 3 times the rent in monthly income. I don't have this or that. Like, it's like, oh, that's depressing, you know. And then there's other bad news. Oh, I just got, you know, something from recruitment hell or whatever. Like these subreddits where people talk about bad stuff. It's like, I don't need that in my life. Or other people who are like, no, everything's great. I just made $32,000 this month from the same thing you're doing.
It's awesome.
Isn't it wonderful?
So great.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
So pumped. So, man, so excited.
Like, how did you negotiate that?
Well, I would say this. I mean, we're gonna come down to whether or not this particular movie, Citizen Vigilante, starring Armie Hammer, is a watch.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, what is it? Parental guidance is recommended. It's not for kids, but it just sparked an hour-long conversation about the issues that I think they wanted us to talk about. So watch it with somebody who's open-minded, talk about it. And I think it's worth seeing. I think that this guy thought that it was worth making, and knowing that he's probably not going to really recover anything from it. He hired Armie Hammer, who's apparently could be a cannibal. We don't know.
I mean, maybe.
I really, really liked him as the Russian in Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah, that was a decent movie.
Yeah, I really, really liked him in that. So I feel, you know, that was what got me excited to see this. It's like, oh, he's in something else. Like, cool. And he is so just playing it straight the whole way through. He is like really, he is that guy. Like, there's no like, you know, there's no sense at all that he's trying to like pull back from how horrible he's being. He's like really leaning into it. Like, he seems to genuinely feel it. Like, when he's standing in front of that group of people, get some new blood in here. It smells like a nursing home. It's like he said that with as much venom as you possibly could.
He probably hurt some of their feelings.
Yeah,
Like real, like they were like,
yeah, one or two of them probably. Like little. Okay,
it's fine.
It just felt real.
I mean, they couldn't have got paid much. They were barely in it.
Yeah, but still, it's provocative.
It is very provocative. I would also call this a watch.
But you do have to buy it right now. That's the only way to get it, is to buy it or to take to the high seas, which we were just talking about earlier with the removal of physical media for so much stuff. It's like the only way to preserve things or have any ownership is, well, to set sail.
If I'm gonna own nothing, piracy's not illegal. Like, what's?
Yeah,
it's not illegal.
Buying isn't owning. Piracy isn't stealing.
Exactly. It's obvious. But I'm going to say, watch it with somebody who's not open-minded. Surprise them.
Surprised. Unpleasantly.
Go for it. It's...
it will probably... Honestly, it will probably upset regardless of what side of the spectrum you're on. Because it does kind of go both ways. The worst part of the movie was the 17-year-old like BBC news anchor who's talking for, like narrating parts of the movie. Do you know who I'm talking about? They have these scenes where they cut to a host in a studio talking about what the Vigilante's doing. Like, that's how we're getting like what the public is hearing. And she looks extremely young and she sounds about 50. And she's like, and the Vigilante has gone and done this today. And it just sounds so strange for this really, really young person. They have to.
It's a little.
Time to flourish unchecked. We took to the streets to hear what people think about the shadowy figure. Here's what they had to say.
It just, it was like, oh, this is so... They had to have filmed it and realized, like, this kid's voice is terrible. Like, there's no way she'd be on TV, so they hired somebody else to dub it in. And it's just, there was a lot that was like, this is a cheap production, but it's what they had to work with, and I think they did a very good job with it.
I would also say it was well done. They absolutely, without question, got their point across.
And they just use stuff well. Like, there's the explosion after the pillbox scene where they cut to a practical shot of fire coming out and all. Like, they don't have the budget to blow this thing up and really show that, but they can imply it. They can show this other shot that they can film, and they can do these cuts that make it impactful without having to spend all the money. Like, that was what really struck me, was these people really know what they're doing.
They're
making the most of
shot.
Yeah, and there's like the violence where he stomps on the kid's hand, or so, like breaks that one kid's hand, or just stomps, and then it cuts to like clearly a relatively inexpensive prop, like doesn't look terribly realistic.
What did you think about the fact that he messed up the two boys, but they just kind of forgot about the girl? Like, all of a sudden she wasn't there. Because there was
I wondered, what is he gonna do? Yeah, because he finds the same kids that were causing a problem on the bus, and they're bullying some other kid. Yeah, they're like they take his stuff, they're kicking him, they're beating him up. And it's all three of them, the two boys and the girl. And he comes up and he lets the first boy have it, but then the one that he had told, this is the luckiest day of your life, you'll understand. He's like, you just couldn't let it go, could you? Something like that. It's like you just had to keep going. Like, okay, and now I'm back. And he causes some problems for that kid. And then they cut to a wide shot. The girl is nowhere to be found. Like, I thought he was going to address her next, like not hit her, but be like, okay, next time I will do this to you, or something like that. Like, he would threaten her in some way. It's like, he's probably not going to hit her or do the same thing to her, but then she's just not even there.
Right.
Like, they cut to wide and she's like running off. Just not there at all.
Given what happens in the final scene, why would they pull that punch?
Yeah.
Why would you even bother? No, let's just go all the way. Like, there were some things that I wanted him to kind of go harder on some of that. The guys in the bar were trying to drug the girls. Like,
yeah, he doesn't fight them or anything. He just swaps the drinks. And he's like, hey, you girls might want to get out of here.
Yep. Oh, they're acting like this because those were your drinks.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. And it's just with how brutal it is that they would just let some of that go. There were some parts I'm like, I just want, like, the first young lady who's in the hospital who he interviews and, was discussing with her and then goes after the people who hurt her. Like, I wanted, like, as brutal as the last scene of the movie was, I wanted that for all of them. Like, I wanted to watch, I mean, it's a revenge movie. I want to watch people who deserve to get what's coming to them. I want to watch that. I want to watch them get what's coming to them. I like, yes, let's go. But that's why I came. They actually, that's why I'm here. That's why I came. Thank you, Harrison Ford. They did a study, a difference between men and women and how our brains view things. And they were watching individuals play some sort of competition. And when, I'm trying to think of specifically how it was working, when something was happening to somebody, like somebody was being shocked, but they didn't do anything wrong. And the center in our head, in our brain for empathy, lit up for both the men and the women who watched that take place. Then, when they swapped what was going on in this competitive state to where the person who was getting a shock was somebody who was cheating. Oh, you did something wrong, and then you got this shock. Well, for women, it's the exact same thing lit up. Exact same empathy. The fact that they were cheating before the electroshock or whatever happened, that didn't change the way that lit up for them at all. For men, it was the other way around. That's when that started happening, our pleasure centers started lighting up like, yes, that is, do more of that. That's right. Like, we're just different. We view those things. So when I see that and I see some people who did horrific things getting what's coming to them, yeah, I am sign me up for more of that. I will take some sequels of this that can get more brutal.
I've listened to some people talk about that, like, genuinely, like, I hate that I've come to this conclusion, but women should not be in politics. And they were like, they're too empathetic. Got to interject here and make sure everybody heard me say that I'm referring to what someone else talked about, not just stating my own opinions. They can't do anything. And they were talking about a similar study that between men and women where they found that, like, women they feel better about a problem when they've talked about it. Men only feel the relief when they do something about it. And they're saying that's the problem when you have, like, these government bodies that are all women. They talk about it, and then they feel like they've done something, and they haven't. He's like, or they're super empathetic, and they're empathizing with the people who are causing the problem, and they're not willing to just be a little harder. Mm-hmm. And not, you don't have to do anything to them, but you can't just let your empathy stop you from solving whatever this issue is. And it's like,
suicidal.
God, he's kind of right. If that's really the truth, he might be kind of right. But I think that's why you need both in it. You just need everything needs to be balanced.
Perfectly balanced, the way all things should be.
Yes, sir.
Well, you know what? I think that's it. We're calling it right there. Like, how else?
We've had 2 Josh Brolin references, so
at least. Is that enough? Is that enough Brolin? Is it ever enough Brolin? I don't know that it is, but it's been fun. It's fun to get back out and to do this again.
Yeah, especially with one that's such a minefield. Thanks.
Whew. Yeah, that was.
I was more wanting to talk about, like, it's like
you bought it. You're the reason I got to watch it. So thanks for that, Mr. Moneybags over here. So as always, Hooligans, like, comment, subscribe. That's the thing I'm supposed to say that, right? Is there another spiel that I have to?
YouTube would normally tell you to do that.
Okay.
I doubt this is going to get a lot of traction on YouTube.
I mean, you never know, right? Come on, let's get at it, Hooligans. But if you want to reach out to us, moviehowl@gmail.com. If you send us something, a recommendation of a movie to watch, we'll watch it. We'll record on it. We'll give you our opinion. Maybe you'll agree with it. Maybe you'll disagree with it.
Yeah. Tell us what you think about this movie. What do you think? Whose side were they on? Were they trying to spark a conversation? I mean, we know whose side they were on. But do you think they were trying to go after both sides? Do you think they were trying to start a conversation? Or was it just wish fulfillment? Exploitation?
Maybe it was all of the above.
Or do you feel vindicated or seen because they brought up an issue that's important?
I feel seen. But that's because there's a camera right there. So.
All right. That's enough.
That's enough. Good night, everybody.
All right. We're not really going to end like that.
We're not ending like that.
Okay. But now it's over.
Now it's no. Okay.
I've been Ryan.
I've been Joe.
And we're out.
We're out.
And usually he says that.
Oh, what? What? Oh.